What if everything you've been told about yourself was wrong? Today you'll discover a truth so simple and powerful that it can completely change the way you look at yourself in the mirror. A truth that, if you truly understand it, can free you from that constant feeling of not being enough. Imagine spending your entire life believing you're not enough. You look in the mirror and think you should be taller, thinner, smarter, stronger. You believe you need to fix yourself as if you were a broken toy. And every day you repeat the same thought. When I change this about myself, then I'll be okay, then I'll be happy. Since childhood, we're taught that we must constantly improve in order to deserve love, respect, or happiness. We hear phrases like, when you grow up, you'll be someone, or when you achieve this, you'll be complete. So we grow up with the idea that we're never enough in the present, that we always need one more step to feel worthy. We live believing that our life is a work in progress, something incomplete that needs to be perfected. But in the middle of that race, we forget something essential. We are already whole here and now, even with our doubts, mistakes, and scars. The revelation comes when you finally stop. You stop chasing that perfect image you're always running after. Close your eyes for a moment and discover something that changes everything. You are not broken. You never were. You are human, and that means you sometimes doubt, make mistakes, stumble and fall, and many times you get back up. And that, far from making you less valuable, is what makes you real. Because life doesn't need you to be perfect. Life needs you to be true. Look at nature. The small tree just starting to grow is no less a tree than the tallest one in the whole forest. The river that begins as a tiny stream is no less a river than the one overflowing with force. Everything in life is complete in each stage, even when it seems incomplete. And the same is true for you. You don't need to be more than you are to have value. You don't need to wait to be perfect to deserve love. The problem is that we've been taught to see our wounds as flaws, when in reality, they are signs that we've lived. The scar on your skin, the mistake you made, the tear you once shed, none of that is a failure. It's part of your story. And your story is not a mistake. It's the proof of your existence. Then you realize that real love doesn't arrive when you reach an ideal version of yourself. It arrives when you dare to accept the version you already are. Because true love doesn't seek perfection, it seeks truth. Someone who truly loves you doesn't expect you to be different, doesn't ask you to hide your shadows or cover up your fears. They see you exactly as you are, with the beautiful and the difficult, and still they choose you. The revelation is simple but powerful. You don't need to fix yourself to be worthy of love. What you truly need is to learn to see yourself with the same eyes life has always seen you, with no conditions. And when you understand this, something inside you changes forever. When you realize you are never broken, something within you begins to transform. The way you see yourself completely shifts. You no longer see yourself as an unfinished project needing constant repairs, but as a whole being on a journey learning and growing. You stop fighting against what you used to call imperfections and begin to look at them with compassion. What used to be a reason for criticism becomes a reminder of your humanity. You realize you are not a mistake, but a process. You discover that self-love isn't about fixing what's wrong, but embracing what is even in your most fragile moments. Instead of punishing yourself for every misstep, you learn to recognize that your mistakes aren't stains on your life. They're traces of experience. Every wound becomes evidence that you faced challenges and still moved forward. Every scar, whether on your skin or in your soul, becomes a silent medal speaking of your resilience and your will to keep going. What you once called flaws become signs that you have lived, felt, learned, and grown. The insecurity that once made you tremble taught you to be stronger. The fall that hurt so much showed you how to rise again. The fear that once seemed impossible to overcome revealed that you're braver than you imagined. Accepting who you are doesn't mean settling. It means freeing yourself. It's stopping the waste of energy hating yourself and starting to use that energy to live. It's discovering that there has always been a strength inside you that never needed perfection to shine. And in that moment, peace begins to take the place where struggle once lived. From the outside, some might think accepting yourself as you are as giving up. They believe that if you stop criticizing yourself, you'll become lazy, that if you stop pushing yourself, you'll get stuck. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Accepting yourself doesn't mean settling. It means stopping the hate. It means freeing the energy you used to spend fighting yourself and using it to truly live. Imagine spending every day of your life at war with your reflection. It's a battle you can never win because you're not fighting an enemy. You're fighting yourself. And the more you hurt yourself, the more exhausted and empty you feel. The paradox appears when you drop the weapons. When you stop fighting yourself, you don't become weaker, you become stronger. Because all that energy you used to waste on self-criticism begins to return to you and becomes strength to create, to love, to enjoy. What's surprising is that when you stop trying to fix yourself, that's when you truly begin to improve. You no longer grow from fear or pressure, you grow from peace. Just like a seed doesn't grow by being hit, but in silence. With patience and light you, too bloom when you stop punishing yourself. Change happens naturally, without force, without imposing impossible burdens. You discover that what once seemed like weakness was actually the doorway to your true strength. Because accepting your vulnerability doesn't make you fragile, it makes you authentic. Acknowledging your fears doesn't diminish your worth, it multiplies it. Showing your wounds doesn't take away from you, it connects you with those who also carry theirs and recognize themselves in you. Weakness stops being a shadow and becomes your greatest strength because it teaches you to live with truth, not appearances. The paradox is this: only when you dare to accept yourself as you are, unconditionally, does the real possibility of transformation arise. Not because you need to change to be valuable, but because life, when lived in peace, always invites growth. Alan Watts explained it with disarming simplicity. Life is not a problem to be solved. Life is a game to be enjoyed. And when you understand that, everything changes. You stop seeing yourself as an endless to-do list and start recognizing yourself as part of a dance already in motion. You didn't come into this world to fix yourself as if you were a broken object. You didn't come here to become a perfect version of yourself that only exists in your imagination. You came to be you as you are and to live the experience as fully as possible. And that means your worth doesn't depend on reaching impossible goals or meeting others' expectations. Your worth lies in your very existence. The great truth is this: you don't need to fix yourself to deserve love, respect, or happiness. You are already enough, even with your doubts, even with your fears, even with your mistakes. You are not worthy of love because one day you'll become perfect. You are worthy because you're alive, because you're human, because you're real. When you understand this, the weight you've been carrying dissolves. You no longer need to wear a mask to fit in. You no longer have to compare yourself to others to feel like you matter. You can breathe in peace, knowing you lack nothing to be whole. Because the essence of life isn't about reaching perfection. It's about recognizing yourself as whole, even if you're not perfect. Alan Watts summed it up with a brilliant idea. Stop living as if you were a test you need to pass. Life isn't waiting for you at the end of the road. Life is happening right now, in this moment. And if you accept that you are already enough, then everything you do stops being a duty and becomes an act of freedom. The lesson is simple but powerful. Stop living as if you're an unfinished project. You're not a broken machine needing constant repairs. You are a human being, and that already makes you valuable. When you learn to embrace your own imperfection, you discover that you were never missing anything. What you really needed was to see yourself differently. And then, life stops being a struggle to become and turns into a gift to enjoy. If these words resonated with you, subscribe for more reflections to help you live with meaning. And remember, the most liberating truth is this: you are already enough, and you always were.